Hello, Hari Om to all of you again. So, in our earlier two sessions, we have discussed some various psychological issues or some mental disorders. Sorry. Now, we are going to discuss about counseling as a remedy. However, counseling and even psychotherapy, not only we can consider it as a part of treatment, but even as a part of uh, enhancement or rather prevention. So preventive measures of psychological disorders, with this particular aspect or with this particular approach, we can study or we can go through with that what exactly counseling is. And the word enhancement, which I have used intentionally, is in the sense, say for example, right now we don't have any kind of stress, tension, or any kind of anger issues or any kind of sleep disturbance or nothing like it. But however, to enrich, to enhance our life, to enhance our psychological well-being, it is always important to nurture our psychological health, because according to World Health Organization, holistic health, so this term, it includes physical health, physical well-being, psychological well-being, and even spiritual well-being. So with reference to yoga, already we are focusing and we are dealing with physical and spiritual aspect. With this perspective, of counseling and understanding of psychology, we are going to throw some light that how can we enhance, how can we maintain, and how can we nurture our psychological well-being in our day-to-day life. Okay, so now first quickly we will discuss the difference between counseling and psychotherapy. So what exactly it is? Counseling, it helps people identify problems and crises, and counseling encourages them to take positive steps to resolve these issues. On the contrary, psychotherapy, it also helps people with psychological problems that have built up over the course of a long period of time. So comparing to counseling, psychotherapy, it has its own long term impact. Second difference is counseling is the best course of therapeutic treatment for everyone who already has an understanding of well-being and who is also able to resolve some issues. Psychotherapy helps us to understand our feelings, thoughts, actions more clearly. The more the synchronization between feeling, thoughts, and actions, the more healthy personality it is. And last, counseling is a short term process that encourages the change of behavior, and psychotherapy is long term process of treatment that identifies emotional issues and the background to problems and even difficulties. The way REBT defines psychotherapy is, though it requires a great deal of intellectual knowledge, and to become a successful therapist, it requires that one reads many books, articles, listens to hundreds of hours of lectures and workshops and seminars, everything. However, despite all this verbal intellectual activity, we have to act. We have to decide quickly as what to say, what to ask, or to remain inactive. So this particular thought is what is psychotherapy. The therapy, we use the word therapy with reference to prevention, enhancement, and even treatment purpose. Now first we will discuss the person and the system. So when as a client the person comes to us to discuss or to share, at that time he is full of some hurt, some wounds, some unmet needs, dreams, some kind of guilt, anger, aggression, or n number of things. And though he or she is having n number of abilities, skills, talents, capacities, and potentials, but because of these particular hurts, wounds, and everything, it is hidden. It gets covered. So the person is not aware about his abilities, his psychological strengths, and everything. The end of any kind of counseling process, it can be yoga counseling or it can be anything, it should be like this. So there must be an outlet. To hurts, wounds, unmet needs, and dreams also. So that the client gets aware about his strengths, his potentials, his abilities, and everything. According to Carl Roger, the three important attributes, the three important personality features of a therapist are like congruence, unconditional positive regard, and third most important is an accurate empathetic understanding. Again, congruence means what? The genuineness, being honest at the time of interaction and at the time of dealing with that particular client. Our actions, our talk, our eye contact, our overall body language, everything should reflect that we are there 100%. We are very much there, because then only it helps and contribute to build a rapport between the client and the counselor. So this particular genuineness in conversation, in dialogue, it is most important. Second important aspect, according to Roger, as a therapist and as a counselor, one must have is unconditional positive regard and unconditional positive aspect. So that means irrespective of any flaws, irrespective of a tendency to repeat the mistakes again and again and again of a client, counselor must be willing and ready to accept the client as it is psychologically. So unconditional positive acceptance and unconditional positive regard, it is most important to build a healthy relationship between counselee and counselor, because once the client realize that yes, the way I am, another person is ready to accept me the way I am, and then only he or she will be more open to share everything what exactly it is there inside the mind or back of the mind. And third thing is accurate empathetic understanding. Being sympathetic, it is different, and empathetic, it is different. Empathy means ability to put yourself into the shoes of others. So accurate empathetic understanding means ability to feel, ability to understand that what exactly the client is feeling, suffering, and going through right now. So as we are discussing, all these three things helps to build a rapport. Rapport means what? It is the art of establishing trust, respect, and cooperation in a mutual relationship. Now, how can we develop rapport other than these particular three important attributes? The most important and the most significant aspect is our body language. So if we are having, or if we try to follow, if we try to practice such kind of open body posture, it is quite open in nature, so the other person as a client feels free to share, to discuss, to have to discuss like whatever exactly he is feeling or suffering without having any kind of inhibition. So that builds a trust between the two people. But imagine, suppose the person who is counselor, instead of this particular open body posture, instead of having a thought which is actually reflecting, if the person is having such kind of body posture which is quite close, automatically it reflects that the person is not that much willing and that much ready to listen, like stubborn, rigid. It may reflect that the person as a counselor, he is having some ego, he is having some a very rigid view. So therefore it is most important to remember that therapist never talk too much, but rather he allow the client to share, to open, to talk more and more. So the job of a therapist or the job of a counselor, it is not to talk too much, but rather to allow the client, to let them ventilate their emotions, their thoughts, their suppressed feelings, everything. So let the client move ahead first, because counseling, it is not means giving guidance, or even it doesn't mean that we have to just give a number of solutions, but rather it is just to create an insight that I can solve, I can deal with my problems on my own. Client should be willing to counseling. The willingness, it is the fundamental process, fundamental aspect of counseling. We can't force anybody to have counseling sessions. And it is important to remember that the person who is sitting next to us is a combination of good and bad things. He is also like us. So to err is human, so we have to accept and we have to respect, and it should be reflected through our body, through our body language, our tone, facial expressions, spontaneous responses, or everything. So again, same point, it is highlighting the unconditional acceptance and unconditional positive regard towards client. Psychotherapist and counselor's job is to strengthen the potential of client, that what exactly he can do to boost or to support the things which in which he or she is good. So that's why it is most important that what exactly a counselor should do and what exactly he should not do. Now we will discuss the 4 important treatment factors in counseling and even in psychotherapy. With some studies and with some research, it has been found that out of 100%, 10% treatment factor, it is based on expectancy, what the client is expect and even what the counselor is expecting from that particular interaction. But 35% treatment factor, it is based on the therapeutic relationship between the client and the counselor, the rapport, the trust, the thought that whatever as a client I am going to discuss and I am going to share with this particular person, it will be remain confidential between us only. So that kind of relationship, it should be reflected through our work. Equal 35%, it is also important, as we have rightly discussed now, that the willingness, the client must feel that something is going wrong or I need some kind of help from another person, so I should talk to that particular person instead of letting someone force me to go or to have some counseling session. It is my willingness which is most important. And 20% it is based on the techniques. So CBT, behavior therapy, REBT, even mindfulness, yoga. The techniques also plays an important role, but with some research, according to some research, relationship and willingness, these two factors plays a vital important role in the treatment factor. Now starting with basics in counseling, the first thing is communication. So the communication skills in counseling, it is like finding gold from the earth. We have to dig, we have to work a lot, we have to pay attention to body language, we have to pay attention to some non-verbal cues, everything. So communication is the foundation, fundamental aspect of counseling, and verbal, it plays only 7% role, but the tone and gesture, so that plays vital important role again. So now the four elements of communication, of course we all know that expression, listening, responding, reacting, all these are four important elements, important factors of communication. We are not going to discuss these four in detail, especially with reference to language as such, but with the reference of our day-to-day lifestyle, with the reference of our routine, the way we express, the way we communicate our feelings, either paying attention, ignoring, even negligence, happiness, enjoyment, joy, cheerfulness, everything that should be easily and immediately expressed. Listening to all these emotions, paying attention to the said and unsaid words, it is most important. And the most important difference between reacting and responding. Responding means what? Means taking some pause to think that what exactly we should respond to that particular person, to that particular person's particular action or so, which is very healthy sign. Having a thought of responding. So response, it is good. However, generally we react. Action to reaction. And this reaction, it leads to some kind of communication problem, relationship issues, and a number of things. So the more we tend to follow, to change our flow from reaction to responding, our life, it will be more easy and more healthy also. So if responding it is important, so there are 5 important responses: evaluative, interpretative, supportive, probing, and understanding. However, out of these 5, 2 responses we should not use, we should not follow even in our day-to-day life. Of course, in counseling it shouldn't use at all, but even in day-to-day counseling, evaluative and interpretative responses should not be used. Why it is so? Because all these responses, it is not only important with reference to counseling process, but even it is important because in a way they can be considered as a life skill. Yes, counseling skills can be considered as a life skills. So why it is so? Because see, supportive response means to reassure, to encourage. So suppose the person is saying something, or if the person is sharing something with us, and as a counselor, after listening what he or she is trying to say, first we should encourage, and rather or we have to reassure that whether we have really and appropriately understood what he was trying to say. Yes, so yes, I can understand. Yes, I do agree. Oh, great, you have done a great job. I really appreciate. So these kind of spontaneous responses, it can be termed as a supportive response. Probing, another important type of response is probing. So probing means what? Is it so? So to seek further information, to provoke further discussion, and to explore the feeling of the client, probing responses can be and should be used. Example purpose, I can understand that the way you feel at that particular time, it makes you so. Allow the client, allow that particular person to complete the statement so that we can explore and we can understand the feeling of the client. So what exactly you are going to do? So the tone, it is different. Now tell me, so what you are going to do? So this kind of it reflects simple questioning or asking something. However, can you tell me that what exactly you are trying to say? Such kind of tone and such kind of wording can be termed as probing. And third responses is understanding. Understanding the feelings, understanding the emotions, trying to understand that what the person is thinking right now. So identical paraphrasing and the gist, understanding the gist, but without changing the meaning and feeling. So paraphrasing means whatever the story or whatever the content the client was sharing with us since last half an hour or so, it is our skill to put it again within hardly 2 to 3 sentences and again to communicate with the person, so that, and again with reassure, so that so then only the client will have a feel that yes, whatever I was trying to communicate, the person as a counselor, he has really understood what I mean to say. So that's why these three types of responses, it is most important even as a day-to-day life. But evaluative and interpretative responses should not be used. So why it is so? Because evaluation, the term itself speaks a lot. Evaluation means being judgmental, like giving advices or being generalized. Okay, so you have example, so you have failed in one exam, so now you are going to fail in all the exams of your life also. So this type of judgmental statement should not be used, at least in counseling session, even in day-to-day life also. You have to do this, you should do this, you listen to me. So this type of advices also, it should not be used. And interpretative, it is like giving our own meaning to another person's life, or to another person's particular situation. You have done this because you wanted to do this, blah blah blah. So this type of interpretative responses should not be used. Another important factor in counseling is concreteness, as a part of summarizing and as a part of paraphrasing. Summarizing and probing, it is related with concreteness. However, with the appropriate tone, we can use the words like why, where, what, when, how. So what exactly you feel at that time? Can you please tell me? So you mean to say that the way he or she said, it hurts you. Is it so? So here we are again concretely trying to ask that what the frequency, duration and the intensity of that particular person's feeling of guilt or hurt. So asking the duration, frequency and intensity of certain or specific issues. And in counseling, it is most important that we should choose one issue out of n number of, or out of multiple issues. so that it helps the client to assign certain objectivity. The moment client came with us or to us, he was quite subjective in nature. He was quite subjective about his specific issue. But now, during the process of counseling, we are helping him. Instead of guiding or advices, the word here is used is helping. We are helping the client to assign certain objectivity. Empathy, as we have discussed, it is totally different from sympathy. Empathy means ability to put yourself into the shoes of others and correctly understanding, equally ability to convey to the client or to person that what you have shared is we have understood. So one of the simple formula is you feel XYZ, the name of the feeling which the client use, we should also immediately quickly reply to it or use the same word. So as you said that you feel anxious because so. So put yourself and then communicate that too genuinely. If it is required, if it is appropriate, with the permission of the client, you can discuss, you can share your own examples, but that too very briefly. So these are some of the key important skills in counseling, that is listening, empathetic understanding, summarizing, paraphrasing, advanced empathy, self-disclosure, confrontation, alternative frame of reference, information sharing, encouragement, and even immediacy. Now we have discussed counseling means exactly what, the aspects, treatment factors, some of the very basic and core skills of counseling, and another lastly to discuss is about, it is also equally important to discuss the counselor's health, because the person becomes counselor afterwards. First he is a human being, and human beings like any other, they have their own limitations. So it is also equally important to consider the counselor's health. However, stress nowadays it is like supportive factor, supportive element. It is like a part and parcel of our life. We can't say that is there any option to stress, but we can discuss the answer to stress, because we have to face the stress some or the other way. The most important is self-care. The intentional time taken by an individual to nurture himself or herself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, that too on a daily basis. So self-care with reference to our exercise, with reference to our diet, the food which we intake. So again, Ashtanga Yoga and everything, it can be relate over here. Even mentally, the psychological aspects which we are discussing and dealing, spirituality. Of course, we all know at this particular phase that how spirituality it is different from religion also. So therefore, spiritual practice, that too on a daily basis, and even nurturing our emotions. We are bound to experience many emotions, even the negative, but however, it can be controlled at the frequency, duration, and intensity, and even the degree. So with reference, as we are going to discuss the another aspect of therapy, that is REBT, so they have termed it healthy negative emotions and unhealthy negative emotions. So emotions also plays an important role in experiencing and expressing the stress level. So everything should be practiced, and that too on a daily basis. Plus, in addition to this, some of the takeaway, if we can say, the key points to maintain our health is: first, recognize and accept your own limitations as we have discussed earlier, first we are a human being and then we become a teacher or a yoga practitioner or yoga counselor also. But it is important to understand and to have our own SWOT analysis, SWOT, that is strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. So we should be able to recognize, understand, accept our own limitations. So unconditional acceptance of self, that will lead us to unconditional acceptance of others in counseling practice. Second is learn to tolerate and forgive. Ability to tolerate, it can be the injustice, it can be the inappropriateness, or it can be anything, but tolerance level, again, it is like a process, or it is like a journey. So within a couple of days or so we can't say that yes, we have now achieved mastery on tolerating everything. And even it is also a skill that to what extent and to how many things, or what exactly the things we should tolerate and not. But so now, considering the context here, psychological tolerance, it is most important. Frustration tolerance, high frustration tolerance, it is one of the important sign of healthy psychological well-being. So forgive and ability to forget self-failures and even others also. Third most important thing is get moving and take action. The more we are active in nature, the more we are healthy in psychology. Because once Swami Vivekananda say, if you are busy, then everything it is easy. But if you are lazy, then nothing is easy. So the more we are action oriented, the more we are psychologically healthy, because that helps us, our mind, to be engaged in some constructive task, in some constructive actions. Fourth one is, even if we are bound to do the same task, the same work again and again and again for years together, it is our skill. It is it reflects, or it shows that how far we are open in thinking, that even if we are bound to work even if we are bound to have the same work, can we do the same work in some different ways? So that helps us to have flexibility in our thinking and in actions. Work differently, it is most important. A little bit costly but most important, and which is the need of the hour, is give smile to others. The more we are happy and the more we are able to make others happy, that is most important and the crucial aspect for counselor's health. So that's why it is most important, it is a need for counselor's health, that the person should be happy in nature and ability to give smile to others. Therefore, perceive others from others' perspective. Instead of perceiving others from our own view, that can be considered as egoistic and even dominating. But we all are different, so we all have some our own set of genes, heredity, even genetics and everything. So individual differences, it is most important. So the more we are able to practice to see other persons from their own perspective instead of our own perspective, it will help us to strengthen and to have smooth relation with self and even with others. And last important thing is, the shortest distance between two people is laugh. So the humor, it should be there in our life. Humor, it is most important in counselor's health. Ability to laugh at self instead of ability to laugh at others, one must be able to laugh at self also. So therefore laughter and humor, it should be there in our life, and that too on a daily basis. So to concise, and to put it in some very concrete manner, everything as a I'm sure that many of you might be familiar with this particular prayer. It is called as serenity prayer. God, give me the serenity to change the things I can. Give me the courage to accept the things which I cannot change. So the understanding what I can change and what I cannot change, and give me the wisdom to know the difference between these two. So the more we are able to understand the difference, that what exactly we can control and what exactly we can't control, this is what is most important. So with this we have discussed the basic outline of counseling. As a counselor means what, so counseling means what, how it is different from psychotherapy, the process, its basic aspects, key features, elements of communication, and everything we have discussed. In our next fourth and last one session, we are going to discuss the technique which is frequently used in counseling and which is quite goes hand in hand, which has very much a positive relation and even similarity with Bhagavad Gita, that is REBT, so rational emotive behavior therapy. So this part we are going to discuss in our fourth and last session. Thank you and Hari Om.